John Edwards for Griffins TV alongside head soccer coach Brian Haddock. And coach, congratulations on a victory last night against Chaminade, and what a performance, pretty much from the opening whistle to the end.
Yeah, that's been our last few games have been like that. We try to stress coming out on fire. Getting 2 goals early in the last 2 games obviously was the icing on the cake. Now that doesn't happen all the time, but we've been proud of the overall effort's been just phenomenal out of our group, from our subs to from our back line goalkeepers all the way up to our forwards. The effort's been there, and it's been nice to get the goals to prove it.
You scored 2 goals in the first 6 minutes, and generally we don't like to single players out, but I have to ask you, what's gotten into Jacob Sansone lately? He's kind of been on fire, popping goals all over the field for you.
Yeah, he's been a player on a mission, and our team's been on a mission, with that same regard. The guys around him have made his job a little bit easier, I think, as well. Jacob brings a rare combination of speed and size, and you can throw skill in there. He's close to a 5-tool player that we have. But the guys that are playing around him, both at practice and in the games, have really stepped up their game as well to make him look good. So it's been just a great team effort around Jacob.
During the course of the year, I've noticed in seeing your games, some teams have taken a very physical approach against your team, and sometimes they haven't. And you guys have matched whatever has been thrown at you during the course of the year. In last night's game, Chaminade, after being down 2 goals, seemed to be a little bit more physical with your guys, and the team stayed within itself to maintain composure. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, we've been doing that all year, and I think our schedule is a testament to how we can kind of weather the storm of a physical team, or maybe a smaller and faster team, or maybe a skillful team. And even if we take the approach of just the district tournament and beyond, I mean, we've seen kind of all of that. Chaminade, for a good reason, they got physical with us, and I think they were trying to counter our attack with a little bit of physical play. And I think the temptation from our group is to, combat that with physicality. And sometimes when you're up 2-0, that's not the best thing to do because you're playing into the opponent's hands. I was really proud about our group. We kept to our game. We kept possessing, going side to side. We played a really good possession game, east to west. And then at the moment of attack, whether it was Steven or Jacob up top, or Ty or Colin or whoever it was that we subbed up top, when we played that north pass, it was always there. And we got that because we possessed side to side.
How much of a challenge is it for you as a head coach, being up in a game over the last couple games now, the district finals, sectionals last night, being up against your opponents and subbing players in, and as a head coach saying, hey, listen, we're up 2-0, I have some room and leeway to maybe play these guys a little bit longer maybe than I normally would?
Yeah, we try to train our players to play an 80-minute game, but yeah, to be honest, when you go up a couple goals and you've got that luxury to just not just physically, recover your bodies, but it's more of a mental thing. I mean, the passion and just intensity of a playoff game, I think, wears you down almost mentally like it does physically. So just to get a guy out for 10, 15 minutes, whatever it might be, who's a quote-unquote starter, I think wears teams down in the long run. We've been fortunate in the last few games to not let teams creep too much back into the game, but again, going forward, we're not going to rest on the fact that, hey, we're always going to have a couple goal lead. We're still training mentally and physically to be able to go 80 minutes.
As a team over the last, I want to say 4 weeks or so, you're 13-1-2 over the last few weeks, and you hit a patch in the middle of September in which a couple of goals were hard to come by. Tell me what it is that's clicked for this team, that it's been on such a stretch run here.
I think it's an attitude. There was some frustration out of our attackers that the ball just wasn't going in. And I kept telling the players, a good player is just not always about goals. There was a lot of good things we were seeing out of our guys, even when they weren't scoring. And that's tough when you're a forward to just rely on your flat out numbers and goals. But there's so much more that they're doing without the ball. Making runs without the ball, the assists they're having. And it was tough on those guys in that patch that you mentioned when the ball wasn't going in. And I think the attitude stayed positive. And once you get maybe a cheap goal or maybe a deflection goal, like a lot of good goal scorers, then they start coming in droves. And we've seen that with a few of the players that you mentioned.
You Saturday will take on Francis Howell at their place. They too, like you, are a 20-win team on the season. This game technically could be a state championship final game. What is the mindset for you and the team over the next couple of days to keep the focus on the fact that Saturday's just another game and there's still a couple more games to go?
Yeah, well, we're treating that game like it's a state final, and that's what we've been doing since our Parkway South game. So the training mentality is, Saturday we're treating that like a state final. They're a very good team. I think they're the highest ranked team still left, other than whose name's not Rockhurst or CBC. Howell's got a great group, very athletic. They could score at will. I mean, if you look at their numbers, man, they've scored a ton of goals. And what goes unnoticed, I guess the silent assassin in the room, is that they were the 2016 state champions. And a lot of these seniors and juniors that they have were on that state finals team. So they've got the experience to go with the speed and overall great brand of soccer that they play. I think it's going to be a great matchup. Again, we're going into it thinking it's our state final like we've had, for the last couple weeks. So our training is going to be focused like that.
You got a big challenge for you over the next couple of days. I appreciate a few minutes at a time, and best of luck on Saturday.
Thanks.
Brian Haddock, the head coach of the soccer team here at Vianney. They're on a mission to get over to Soccer Park in a few weeks, but they got to get through Francis Howell first on Saturday. Wish his team the best of luck, and we'll talk to him again next week.